在马来西亚择校的时候，我们常常会考虑到的几个因素，包括预算、地理位置，还有孩子的英语程度。但是有一点呢，这个是家长常常会忽略掉的，那就是学校的课程体系。那在马来西亚呢，如果大家不清楚的话，其实是有5种课程体系的：英式、澳式、加式、IB、美式。那这种5种课程体系到底有什么分别？今天我们就邀请到了马来西亚4所最有权威、最有代表性的来自英式、美式、IB 和加式的课程体系的学校校长，来给大家去做一个全面的分析。
So for an IB curriculum, we're really looking to prepare students not just for university, but it's for life beyond the university. So a really holistic approach, which focuses not just on academics, but the whole person.
What about the British curriculum?
Yeah, the British curriculum is not just about preparing people for examinations, as many people think. People think examinations, learning English. It's not that at all. It's GCSEs, A-levels are the traditional route, although there are many other different routes within the British system. And we are preparing people for society. We're preparing the skills. We are preparing the confidence level, ready for the rigors of the careers, and also making sure they have all the options and all the doors open in terms of university admissions.
All right. I mean, it's one of the oldest curriculums around, so people know what the GCSE is and what the A-levels is. And what about the Canadian curriculum then, Mr. Richard?
Sunway is unique in that we are the only Canadian licensed school in all of Malaysia. At the same time, we also offer the British and IBDP curriculum. A curriculum is an interesting topic. There's no right or wrong curriculum. It's more the best fit. So talking specifically about the Canadian curriculum, looking internationally at the PISA scores. So this is the Program of International Student Assessments, looking at curriculums around the world. The Canadian curriculum is in the top 10 in math, science, and English across all those categories, and ranks typically above the UK and American curriculum. So it's a very rigorous curriculum. At the same time, it's very student-centered. So it adapts to where the student is in its holistic nature, its creative nature, and it adapts to where the student is learning in all the different subject areas. So our teachers are experts in teaching not only ESL, but differentiating almost for every student, for every subject. So it's a very adaptable component, focusing on critical thinking, communication skills, etc. So having students work together to develop their own accomplishment. And more specifically, the assessment and evaluation is student-centered as well. So it's not your standardized testing curriculum. It's more adaptive to where the student is. Not better, not worse, it's just different. So students do really well in standardized testing. Another curriculum might be good for them. Students that do well in testing and sometimes do better in project-based learning do well in the Canadian curriculum too.
Okay, and what about the American curriculum? I mean, this is quite popular amongst Chinese students, especially after Trump's visit yesterday. I'm not sure if that's changed things, but what do you think?
Yeah, so similar to our colleagues up here, all of our schools are trying to prepare graduates not just for examinations and for university, but for society and to enter the world. And so the US syllabus fits right in there. In our learning, we like to use the term student agency. And so the students have the ability to work with teachers to figure out what types of assessments work best for them, whether it's writing a paper, giving a presentation, or taking that examination. We have the advanced placement curriculum, and at our school we're pioneering the advanced placement capstone curriculum. And so students are able to take courses from our OASIS teachers that then after they sit for an exam they can get university level credit. And so once they're applying to the universities, they're actually demonstrating I've succeeded at the university level. And so we're able to help them with the rigor and with the student agency so that they'll be effective once they go out into the real world.
Okay, thank you very much. Would you like to add something? Go on.
Yeah, I'd just like to add actually to what Richard was saying there about how a great thing in Malaysia is that you've got so many schools that do offer such different programs. We're not here to say this one's better or that one's better, but it may be what's better for you. And so whenever I'm speaking to parents and they say, what makes a great school in Malaysia, think about what aligns with what your beliefs of education are and what your values of education are, and then find the school that matches with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because whenever a family, usually a typical family when fresh out of China coming to Malaysia, they would have this misconception of the better curriculum or which one is more difficult. So that is the one that I'm going to choose. In this case, it's usually the IB, because that's in parents' mind, that's usually the most difficult one. But again, yes, I resonate a lot with you. I think it really comes down to suitability. It comes down to the way of learning, how the student, how the curriculum actually can adapt to the student rather than the way around. So in this case, it's about choosing the right curriculum, right? So in Malaysia, in fact, we do see that we have a predominantly British curriculum-based schools. I think close to 90% or even more than that. I'm not sure if it's got to do with the fact that we are also a Commonwealth country or not, but do any one of you have a view on this, and how do you see it actually?
A few thoughts. Getting to know Malaysia is a wonderful journey. I actually came from Canada, and when I was coming to Malaysia, a lot of Canadians, educators, were saying, where's Malaysia? What is it like? And that's an important component, because I can now talk to incoming teachers or parents such as yourselves about Malaysia. But it is a safe place to be. It is a diverse country already, essentially 1/3 Malay, 1/3 Indian, 1/3 Chinese as a society. So the people of Malaysia are very welcoming. They're very used to diversity. At the same time, it's a great place to come for food, for culture, for history. Our Chinese families feel welcomed. They also have community amongst all of Malaysia, South Malaysia, KL, and up into Ipoh, and even up into Penang. But there are many Malaysian Chinese. There's lots of history and culture and food, and students, regardless of where they go, will find students that will welcome them, that are local students, but they'll also find students that are coming from overseas too. And all of the schools have amazing induction program and programs that support students to feel welcome, to feel safe, and to thrive in all of our schools. So really look to Malaysia as a country as a whole, and lots of good choices.
Mr. Andy, do you want to?
In terms of 90% British, I think the British were very good at exporting their education systems worldwide very early, and I think this is why you find a lot of countries have very high percentages of British schools. It is partly the Commonwealth countries. Obviously, the first schools set up were commonly British in schools, first international schools, and it's just evolved from then. But I think something like 5 or 6 times the number of candidates in the UK take exams outside the UK. So it's an incredibly popular programme. But I agree with everybody else. In terms of programmes, it's what's right for you. And it's the same with schools and the same with curriculum. A school that's right for one student may not be right for another student. It's all about looking, analysing, and getting the feel of the place and the curriculum and how it is delivered. Because we've all got curriculums. Some places will deliver them very traditionally. Some places will be very much experiential learning. But it depends on the place. So it's not just looking at the curricula, it's looking at what is there for your child and where will they perform the best, and where they are going to be given the best options for the future. After all, what we want is the end of the line. We want the best opportunities for our children.
Yeah, I think I can relate to a lot to what Mr. Andy shared earlier. It's also comes down to the micro level, what the schools themselves can offer. So we might be all British schools, for example, but each school is a little bit different. And it also comes down to where the school is located, what sort of community that it's building on, right? And the sort of teachers that we have in the school. So it all takes, into account. But again, I just want to dive a little bit deeper into this topic about the high percentages of British international schools in Malaysia. I want to know, is it that much difficult when it comes to convincing a parent to join our school, or talking about, for example, the American curriculum in view, especially in an environment where we've got predominantly British schools? Do you find it difficult to promote or talk about the American curriculum, Mr. Andy?
I think for us, it's oftentimes introducing parents and students to what the U.S. Curriculum and the U.S. syllabus has to offer in a way that is unique and well suited for their students. One of the things that our school, and because like you said, every school then takes the curriculum and adapts it to their time and space and culture. And one of the things that our school has really emphasized is experiential and service learning. And we have a group of students and staff that are really passionate about taking what they're learning in the classroom, if it's learning about climate change in the biology classroom, then going out and making an impact on their community rather than just letting that knowledge stay in their head. And so I think that's something that the U.S. curriculum gives. It's flexibility to do projects like that, and we are lucky to be at a time in our school where we have a lot of staff that are really passionate about taking that learning and being hands-on, and we've had students that have succeeded really well in that, and we've also have students that we've seen go to the UK curriculum from our school and done much better there because the testing and the more structure has been helpful. So, just to reiterate, it really is what's best for the students.
Okay. And what about the IB? Because for many parents, they have this assumption that we need a very high level of English proficiency to access the curriculum. And with the relatively lower number of IB schools in Malaysia, do you find it difficult to promote the IB, Mr. Nigel?
I think people choose the IB because they've heard, like what you said earlier on, they've heard that the IB is hard, especially for the IB diploma. And whilst for some people that can be a deterrent, for others that's part of the attraction. But then promoting or spreading understanding of what the other programs are about, honestly, it's really fun because people often come into our school for the first time saying, look, I've heard about IB, what is it? I've heard about the IB diploma. But when we get to introduce them to the PYP and the MYP and all the different experiences that come with that, it's great because it really is quite different from what a lot of parents are used to experiencing. Looking at the primary years program, a lot of parents are used to, okay, there's my 40 minutes of English, followed by my 40 minutes of maths, followed by my 40 minutes of science. And so when we're introducing things like units of inquiry and trying to say, well, actually, your maths and your science and your social studies, this all comes into one. And when we're giving tours and people are seeing what that looks like in action, it's great to see it. Of course, it's hard to get the word out with so many British schools around, but that's part of why we enjoy getting people through the doors and visiting the campus.
Okay, from the looks of it, from the sharing of our 4 guest speakers, panelists today, I feel a lot of passion from you in terms of how you decipher or what's your understanding of each of these different curriculums. But I think one thing is common, is that no matter the IB, the British, the Canadian, or the American, you guys put students in the center. And I think it's also a journey. It's not the end goal itself. It's not about acing your GCSEs or getting full marks for the IBDP. I think it's also about them experiencing the learning through, the primary programs, the middle years programs, and the high school programs, no matter which curriculum they choose. So, 我觉得今天这个演讲，我觉得对我自己来说，因为我也很少就是有这么样的机会，可以让4位校长来给我们那么深入的交流到这些国际教育的理念。 我觉得这个是值得让大家去深入探讨的。OK， 我们其实这些国际教育理念，国际教育体系没有先后之分，没有说 IBDP 就是比 A Level OSSD 或者是 SAT 更好，而是说它其实是更专注在孩子需要什么。而这个也是我们在从事马来西亚低龄留学这5年以来得到了一个很大的一个感触，就是没有最好的学校，真的只有合适不合适。而这些不同的教育理念呢，它会按照自己的地理位置、时间、学费、老师、家庭、社区，都会有一些对这个理念稍微的不一样，都有差异化。所以我是呼吁大家可以带走一些今天校长们给大家分享的一些无障碍的、完全无滤镜的一些分享，让大家重新思考教育的目的到底是什么。我们有那么多的课程体系，其实是给孩子更多选择，而不是想要他们就是千军万马走独木桥。